for you guys, I'll pick it right up after I play the next game. So that said, it looks like I'm gonna have to do Pac-Land first. So, that said, looks like I need to talk about Pac-Land too. Now, believe me, I actually have a lot to talk about this one. So, how big of a success was Pac-Man here in the West? Well, whether you believe it or not, in 1982, Hannah-Barbera, best known as the creators behind Scooby-Doo and some other cartoons like the Flintstones or the Jetsons, were actually the heads of a Pac-Man adaptation in Saturday cartoon form, simply known as Pac-Man, or as fans have come to know it, Pac-Man Hannah-Barbera. The series would follow the daily antics of the Pac family, as established here in the West, including Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, known as Pepper here in the series, and Baby Pac-Man. The series would also throw in some original characters as well, such as the family pets, Chomp Chomp and Sourpuss. During their adventures in Pac-Land, the Ghost Quintet, under the rule of a new character known as Mesmerone, would find ways to mess with Pac-Man and his family. Compared to the games, there were 5 ghosts featured, as Sue was the name for Clyde and Miss Pac-Man, but rather Hannah-Barbera introduced this as a new ghost, making it a quintet. For being one of the first video game adaptations to television, it was well received by many. So when it came to the next arcade game, Namco would actually use inspiration from the TV series in forming this next game. So a lot of its inspiration was felt through Hanna-Barbera. And so through Pac-Land, released in 1984, here in the West we actually had it fully realized as though it was a spin-off of the TV series. Pac-Man looked like he did in the cartoon, and it would feature all the characters from the cast, including all 5 ghosts, as Pac-Man would go through the land of Pac-Land. Pac-Land, of course, being part of the cartoon series. So here in the West, we had the whole Pac family, which was really cool to see. When the game was released in Japan, however, they actually did change it up to reflect what they knew there in Japan. And that was the regular Pac family. So you had Miss Pac-Man and Baby Pac-Man in their regular forms. Even Pac-Man would look more like we know him as today with his Japanese Puck-Man form. And this would be the way it would go for quite a while. That was until more recently. So remember earlier I was talking about some controversy with Miss Pac-Man? Well, here we are today. Because Miss Pac-Man, at the time of this recording, 2022, the license is owned by AtGames. Now, most people may not know what AtGames is. They are best known for a variety of hand consoles and quick plug-and-play devices that, more often than not, at least at the time when Namco was doing most business with them, were of a pretty poor quality. There was some controversy. They were trying to make a arcade sellable version of Miss Pac-Man that didn't go with the approval of Namco. A lawsuit happened, and that was still pending. And now, for whatever reason, AtGames has the rights to Miss Pac-Man. And through this litigation and just anger, I suppose is the best way to put it, Namco can't use the rights to Miss Pac-Man. So, how do they respond? By completely erasing the Pac family and changing them to new characters, which, as we saw earlier, includes stuff like another version of Pac Baby. We have Pac Mom. I can't make this up. And even changing Junior Pac-Man. I don't understand why they had to change Junior. So we're going to see in this version of the Pac-Man Museum Plus' Pac-Land that they really did change the designs of the Pac family. Do I hate it? I mean, I'll hate anything that they had to change. It's unfair in some ways. Because when you really think about it, the Pac family is significant to the history of Pac-Man, and even later games in the series. So let me just say, never forget what they took from you. Alright, that said though, let's take a look at Pac-Land. Alright, Pac-Land! Yep, that's Pac-Land, alright. We got the design that they'd used for the marquee, the top of the cabinet, as well as the bezel. These are good friends of Pac-Man in the Pac-Land. And as mentioned earlier, we have his traditional form. Fittingly, though, they actually changed Pac-Man to have a fedora on his head. Part of that is because of the story to the game. But it's kind of weird seeing Pac-Man with a hat, all things considered. Alright, that said, let's insert the coin and start. Trip number 1. So here's a little bit about Pac-Land. Pac-Land takes place in, you guessed it, Pac-Land. And Pac-Man comes across a fairy. The fairy needs to get back to Fairy World. But to do so, Pac-Man needs to avoid all the ghosts that are causing some charades in Pac-Land. So, it's an adventure to get back to the fairy realm and deliver the fairy back. So, that said, this is the first Pac-Man game that actually features a side-scrolling environment and some 2D gameplay. Believe it or not, this actually predates Super Mario Bros. And Miyamoto would actually later go on to say that this was a direct inspiration to him in creating Super Mario Bros. Crazy to think about. That said though, this game is unique in that its gameplay actually makes use of a very weird control scheme. One that kind of replicated here, but I could tell that they tried making it a little better. When this game first came out in the arcades, it was actually played entirely with buttons. There was no joystick. Rather, there'd be 3 buttons. One that makes you jump, and the other 2 you keep smashing in order to make Pac-Man run. And now, you do need to actually smash the controller. You can't just hold it in. You might be able to with this collection here, but if you played the arcade version, you need it for certain elements like being able to jump over a pond. If we make it that far, of course. Let's keep going, and just keep going forward. Now, the Pac-Land is a very diverse realm. We have the city, of course, we have the forest, and we're going to eventually make our way to the Rocky Alpine. It's a whimsical adventure full of mystery, I guess is the best way to put it. But for what it is, I enjoy it. This is actually a really good side-scrolling game. Most people know it nowadays because this is the one stage of the Pac-Man series that survived in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And if it's a side-scrolling stage, people just don't really seem to like it for some reason in Pac-Man. Oh, I just realized I have the wrong camera on. Whoops. There we go. Sorry, folks. But yeah, I don't hate Pac-Land. I feel like it's a cool game, all things considered. But I feel like when it came to the stage for Smash Ultimate, that's the only reason people really remember this game. And I guess I can understand, I wouldn't want to play on a stage where it's always pushing you to the side and it's easy to get you killed. But for what it is, it's an innocent game, all things considered. And it's a lot of fun. Alright, so here's the ramp. Nope, nope, you gotta keep mashing the button. Alright, stack it up. So you probably noticed that on the left side, there's always one ghost that's chasing us, and that is Sue. Sue is the new ghost that was added in response to the Pac-Man Hannah-Barbera series. They had 5 ghosts all at once. Alright, we found the door to the realm of the fairies. And we got her back to safety. So, the Queen Fairy thanks us and gives us some Pegasus boots. And with them, we're able to make it all the way back home. I would say we're just as fast as Sonic, all things considered. But we also have infinite jumping, thanks to the wings. So, as we make our way all the way back and hopefully not get hit by any of the ghosts in the planes, we make our way all the way back to the start. Keep it going. But no, Pac-Land can actually be a pretty dangerous place, all things considered. But hey, all in a day's work. Alright, keep going. We're almost there. So, I never did watch much of the Hannah-Barbera series, as I mentioned earlier. It's not that easy to come by, but even then, I did watch some of the original Hannah-Barbera stuff. Scooby-Doo especially. Flintstones a little bit. But here we go, there's the controversy. Pac-Mom and another baby Pac-Man. Pac-Baby? Pac-Babe? But it's not the, baby Pac-Man. Not anymore. They changed it. Which is honestly really sad. I'm sad that they had to change it. Because, again, it's a significant part of Pac-Man's history. Aww. I don't think I've those like in London. Those got double towers. So we gotta get some height on this one. Ow! We can do it! We can do it! And go! Yeah, there we go. Alright, is this the hydrant? Nope. You probably noticed in the beginning, but I actually did push a hydrant, and it gave me a different helmet. That helmet actually helps protect from certain projectiles. Ding! Alright, these are good friends of Pac-Man in the Pac-Land. Alright, B, A, I, L, E. And there's not enough for one extra letter in my name. That's arcade logic for you. But yeah, I never did watch any of the original Pac-Man series for Hanna-Barbera. Again, it's not really easy to come by anymore. I don't really know what streaming services it could be available for in this at the time of this recording. I'm sure there's plenty of episodes on YouTube before anything like that could happen. But as I was saying earlier, there is the idea that Hanna-Barbera was a company that cut costs by doing things very cheaply. If you rewatch stuff like Scooby-Doo, you'll see that there were times where they reused the same animation over and over again with a looping background. And they did that to mass-produce episodes to release every Saturday morning cartoons. You could see that in some of Pac-Man's design, especially with the Ghost Trio whenever they do their dance in the beginning. So, I mean, there is a bit of that laziness, but from a business perspective, it was genius because of just how they're able to cut costs and get episodes out so quick. Has it aged well? I would argue no, but at the time, they certainly made a profit off of it. They were considered the name when it came to television cartoons. And some of their properties, even though they've been bought out by other companies like Warner Brothers, still live on to this very day. Even if some of them haven't turned into memes like Shaggy being Ultra Instinct, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point. But no, it was just a small little piece of Pac-Man's history, but I'm glad that it wasn't the one that stuck around. There's many different iterations of different characters, different tellings. I would believe that there's the worst version we'll be talking about very soon, but it's just part of Pac-Man's history. That said, for Pac-Land, there is a total of, let's see, you have to take 4 trips total, and with 4 rounds each, that means at least 16 original stages. So there's a lot to Pac-Land. Now, the best version of Pac-Land is actually the TurboGrafx 16 version, because there's 2 things that game does. One, it actually looks very close to the arcade version. Because when it first came out, that was part of the power of the TurboGrafx 16. It was impressive, all things considered. But 2, it adds more content. It adds cutscenes between, some new coffee breaks, and also has an ending to the game. This Pac-Land doesn't have an ending in the arcade version. You can play indefinitely until you either lose all your lives or decide to switch machines. Oh. Yeah! Now that's an Easter egg to Rally X. Alright, through the gate to save the fairy. I'll take it. Give me my Pegasus boots! So, to its root, Pac-Land really is just an arcade game through and through. I would have liked to see if there was like a cutscene or an ending, or at the very least a coffee break in the arcade version. But nope. To my knowledge, only the TurboGrafx 16 version actually has the cutscenes and the ending. So that has become the definitive way to play Pac-Land if you ever come across it. And I actually really do love the music that they use in the cutscenes, especially that first one where you literally see Pac-Man drinking a coffee outside his house, being stalked by one of the ghosts. Probably Pinky, because that's something that would come back later in the Pac-Man World series. Alright, back home to my fake family. Ah, truly. So I should mention that there was a YouTuber sometime back that they actually did make a video that talked about the disappearance of Miss Pac-Man, which is an incredible documentary to watch. I highly recommend it. But it's crazy to think that a company, or I guess some creators out of college, were able to hold on to the original rights of Miss Pac-Man because they essentially made an original character. But then later on, through some loophole or whatever, that they ended up giving it to At Games. Now, I'm sure At Games has gotten better, but it's just hard not to feel like, because of what they did in the past. Those are some poor quality devices. The fact that they were trying to sell the arcade versions of the games on device, but were really the NES versions, pretty unforgivable and can really do some real damage, all things considered. But I think it was really just because they went behind the backs of Namco trying to make some consoles, some arcade cabinets, mini cabinets. Now, for the longest time, I've actually been wanting to get myself an arcade 1-up cabinet, but I still feel like they're just way too expensive. The one I would want especially is the Tron or the Marvel vs. Capcom. Alright, one more! Leap of faith! Ah! I couldn't clear it. I couldn't clear it. Alright. Oh! Button mashers! Button mashers! Ooh, 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 ooh! Okay, go! Get him! Now, there's actually one other form of stage that I don't think I'm going to be able to show off here because I just can't get far enough. But it actually involves, like, this waterway where you have the water shoots up above, and you have, like, different paths, like... Oh, wait. Never mind, I get to show it off. So this is the last original room that Pac-Land has to offer. Nice and easy now. If you're not careful, the water will absorb you and make you fall down low. So you do need to be careful for that. Nice and easy now. Otherwise, everything else is same but different. It all looks similar, but it is still different enough where you're not just playing the game again and again. Boats! Careful. Oh. Alright, we made it. Doors of the Fairy Realm. And then, of course, you do have the different day-night cycles. This is the afternoon, so next would be nighttime. Queen Fairy. Pegasus Boots. Let's get back. Keep on flying. Keep going. Yeah. Watch out for the cactus. Through the forest. So, I'm willing to bet that of all the games from the arcade era, Pac-Land would be considered the black sheep of the bunch just because of its different gameplay. Whereas all the other Pac-Man games are maze-based, this is the only one that's more of a traditional side-scrolling game. It feels like it could be a console game, all things considered. And I do think it works better in that form anyways. Give or take mashing the buttons, of course. I still think that this is a great one. It is really fun. Alright, careful. Leap of faith! Oh! I'm down for the count. Alright. Game over. That was Pac-Land. We played 2 times, so I should have enough for the next game. Which, in order, you get the point. Alright. We're gonna do that. Waka, waka, waka. That's fun. Alright, Pac-Land. Take a look at the missions. Play 2 times. Did that. Got a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. 20 rounds. Cool. So you gotta complete 10 rounds to max out that one. Which, alright. Well, we did pretty good. 80%. That's not bad at all. Alright, return to the arcade. What do we get? 10 coins. I'll take it. Yeah, we took out a lot of the missions. You can now play Pac and Pal. Perfect. Got a Pac-Land cabinet, a happy bench, Pac-Land, ooh, oh wow, that is fancy. Pac-Land, Pac-Land, Outward Trip, a cute stuffed doll, ooh, Pac-Land, a chick rocking horse, and the return path, Cagliestia, I can't pronounce it. Pac-Land! And a free game cabinet! Pac-Man, ooh, I like that. It actually's got the Pac-1 design that they use for Pac-Man 99. And 30 missions clear, new visitor stopped by the arcade. We got Inky. I'll take it. Alright, so that was Pac-Land. So at this point, I'm actually going to backtrack to the one that I should have played before, which was Pac and Pal. But for the sake of moving forward, up next is actually going to be, well, what was at the time the last Pac-Man arcade game. If we're not counting Pac-Man Arrangement, of course. And that's Pac-Mania.